Welcome back everyone to the Madden 20 rebuilds here, and today we will be realistically rebuilding the Arizona Cardinals. If you want to see more rebuilds, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. So we're going to take a look at this team. They were the worst team in the NFL last year, so we definitely have some work to do. Of course, led by this man, KYLER Murray, the #1 overall draft pick out of Oklahoma. Definitely going to be a guy we look to build around. Also got David Johnson, a talented running back. Hasn't really lived up to his 2016 season, but hopefully he can get back on track with us today in this rebuild. At wide receiver, there's a ton of talent on this team. Of course, Larry Fitzgerald, very disrespectful that they only gave him normal development. I don't agree there. Hakeem Butler, 4th round pick. Loved him out of Iowa State. I think he's going to be a great player. I gave him a late 1st round grade. Christian Kirk, star development, a young guy we can build around. And then the rookie out of UMass, Andy Isabella, speed machine, has hidden development. It is going to end up being star. So we have 2 young star dev receivers on this team. The O-line isn't great. The Cardinals did acquire Marcus Gilbert from the Steelers. He's pretty good, but he's also 31. Lamont Gallard, rookie out of Georgia. DJ Humphries, somewhat young player. Maybe we can build around them. Defensive line is absolutely atrocious. Rodney Gunter, Darius Philon, Corey Peters, no one really we can build around. Looking at the linebacking core, T-Sizzle, Terrell Suggs, signed from the Ravens. Very old, but he'll be good for this year. Jordan Hicks, 27. He's a young player who we can look to build around. Hassan Reddick, he did pretty well in the sim last year, so maybe he will this year. And then Chandler Jones, superstar development. He has 29 votes, so the dev trade doesn't really matter. In the secondary, Patrick Peterson, he is at least a superstar development. You can even make a case for him deserving superstar X Factor, honestly. And then the 2nd round rookie out of Washington, Byron Murphy. He's a very solid player. I believe he also had star development. And then looking at the safety core, Budda Baker. You can play him at safety as well as cornerback. Very solid young player. And then DJ Swearinger, signed from the Washington Redskins. He's 28. Definitely not a bad player. 83 overall. Maybe we can look to build around him. So here's a look at the squad headed into the season. Obviously, since it's realistic, we're not going to be blowing up the team like if it was an unrealistic rebuild. So without further ado, would you look at that? We get a 1st round bye. We go 10-6. First of all, how does 10-6 get a 1st round bye? Second of all, how do we get a 1st round bye? The Cardinals. I don't get that. Look at that. No forced wins other than the bye week, which doesn't count. So I don't know how we win 10 games. That's absolutely absurd. Looking at the season stats, starting with our man KYLER Murray. 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 64%. That's incredible. David Johnson with a good year. Christian Kirk over 1,000 yards. He played very well. But I'm just in shock of how good KYLER Murray did. O-line was decent. Jordan Hicks led the way in tackles. Hassan Reddick close behind. 14 tackles for loss for Chandler Jones that led the team. 9 tackles for Terrell Suggs. And then 6 picks for Patrick Peterson. 4 for Jordan Hicks and DJ Swearinger. So Andrew Luck ended up winning MVP. KYLER Murray finishing in 7th. Coach of the Year, we finished in 3rd place. Should get 1st, considering we took the worst team of the league to a playoff berth, as KYLER were running for Offensive Player of the Year. Jordan Hicks in 4th for Defensive Player of the Year. KYLER Offensive Rookie of the Year. Isabella in 4th. Here's CJ Hawkinson in 6th. And then for Defensive Rookie of the Year, Byron Murphy in 9th, 1 spot below Jelani Tavai. That's funny. So KYLER Murray has 10 skill points. He has 10. That's scary. That's just flat out scary. So here's a look at the team headed into the postseason. KYLER now an 84. Isabella at a 79. Byron Murphy at a 79 as well. So the rookie's really doing a nice job of developing. And in the 2nd round, we're going to be taking on one of the other rookie quarterbacks, Dwayne Haskins of the Redskins, and we lose. This game absolutely loves the Redskins. I don't know why, but they just do. So on to the re-signing phase. I want to bring back Marcus Gilbert on a 1-year deal. He says no. 2 years for DJ Swearinger. He does say yes, so he's sticking around. 3 years for Ricky Seals-Jones. Welcome back, amigo. So the tag for Gilbert is 15 mil. I'm just not willing to do that. Also re-signed Ricky Seals-Jones and Max Williams. I think I showed us re-signing Ricky Seals-Jones. I don't know. So here's a look at the free agency phase. The usual suspects here. So we're going to be aggressive. We're going to go after Kendall Fuller, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue, Marcus Gilbert, and Timmy Jernigan. And believe it or not, we will get all 5 of those players, which is very, very solid. So welcome to the squad, gentlemen. As we now advance to the NFL Draft, we, believe it or not, don't have a high pick. I believe it ended up being the 27th pick, as we do have the realistic draft class. So here are all the real college players, as a bunch of talented players here. And we're going to make a move, trading pick 27, a third, and wide receiver Sherfield to the Jets for pick 19, and we're using that on offensive lineman Andrew Thomas out of Georgia. I think he's going to go higher than 19 in real life, and he's a 75 with superstar development. Big dub right here. Welcome aboard, Andrew Thomas. Now into the second round, Kenny Wilkes, the edge rusher out of Michigan State. He is a 70 overall. Not too special, whoop-de-doo. And then later, I think this is our 4th rounder, we're going with Michael Myers, a linebacker, and he has hidden development. So maybe he can scare the opponents. No? Okay. So on to the season. Here's a look at the squad. We are now 76. Christian Kirk went up to superstar development. KYLER in 84. Andrew Thomas hidden development. Michael Myers, along with Kenny Wilkes, will be starting. Of course, we also added Miles Jack, Kendall Fuller, Yannick Ngakoue. So this squad is looking nice. And of course, the team that looks a lot better than last year's squad misses the playoffs. We end up going 5-11. I don't know how we regressed from 5 wins. A little bit strange. Kyler Murray was absolutely atrocious. He was awful. That's not starting caliber whatsoever. David Johnson did pretty good, though. 5 yards a carry. Christian Kirk, meh. He could have done better, I guess, because he had an awful quarterback. Andrew Thomas allowed 11 sacks. Hopefully that's better throughout his career. Miles Jack, 121 tackles, 16 TFLs for Darius Philon. Looks like we got a bunch of sacks, 11 for Ngakoue, 9 for Chandler Jones, 8 for Philon. So the pass rush was very good. Interceptions, 3 for Miles Jack, Patrick Peterson, and DJ Swearinger. So Todd Gurley ends up winning MVP. Coach of the Year goes to Sean McVay. Offensive Player of the Year goes to Todd Gurley, of course. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Demario Davis. That's interesting. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jake Fromm, who is on the Saints. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Trayvon Diggs, the talented cornerback out of Alabama. So out of a re-signing phase, we want to bring back Patrick Peterson, 1 year, about $14 million. He declines. Budda Baker, 6 years, $40 million. He will accept. So the franchise tag for Patrick Peterson is $17.4 million, which is tempting. However, we're going to say no. So on to free agency, immediately, the name that pops to my attention is Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke is absolutely insane in the sim, so we're going to go after him. Also going to go after Pat Pete, try to bring him back. And sure enough, we would end up getting both of them. So David Johnson will be a backup. David Johnson has been great so far in the rebuild. However, Ezekiel Elliott consistently runs for like 2,000 yards in the sim, which is absolutely nuts. So as you can see, I think we had the 5th pick, I want to say. So we can pick a player who can be very good for this team. And sure enough, with our 5th overall pick, we're going to go with linebacker Zach Cotton out of UL Lafayette. Only a 70 overall, but he has superstar development, so I'm not too mad about that pick. Welcome aboard to the squad, Mr. Zach Cotton. On to the 2nd round, Brendan Jasper. He is doo-doo flakes, like pretty much every other 2nd round receiver, pretty much. On to the 3rd round, Milton Knight, a center from Western Michigan, 68, but he actually does have star development, so welcome aboard, Milton Knight. So here's a look at the squad heading into season number 3. We actually went down to a 74 overall, but I do like the way this team is going. Of course, just acquiring Ezekiel Elliott. Nobody has normal development on our defense. That's pretty cool. As we end up missing the playoffs. That's tough. We go 7-8-1. So at least we improved. But at the same time, that means we got a lower draft pick. As Kyler Murray played a little bit better than last year, but he wasn't very good still. Zeke, 6.2 yards a carry. That is incredible. Christian Kirk, almost 1,000 yards. Looking at the blocking for the team, Marcus Gilbert, Andrew Thomas each allowed double digits in sacks. Miles Jack, 138 tackles, 16 TFLs for Timmy Jernigan, 7.5 sacks for Ngakoue, 6 for Chandler Jones, 3 picks for Miles Jack and Swearinger. So on to the awards. Baker Mayfield wins MVP. Zeke finishes in 7th. Coach of the Year goes to Jay Gruden. What kind of world are we living in? Offensive Player of the Year goes to Kamara. Zeke in second. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Khalil Mack. Miles Jack in third. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Lumen of the Lions. And the Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Brandon Fox of the Seahawks. Our rookie, Zach Cotton, in eighth. So under a re-sign phase, we have to bring back Christian Kirk. He will accept. Patrick Peterson, 1 year is $10 million. He's going to say no. David Johnson, I want to hold on to as a backup. He says no. DJ Swearinger, he only wants about $4 million, but regardless, he says no anyway. Chandler Jones, 1 year, I'm going to up the offer because I want him back. He ends up saying no. That's fun. So Christian Kirk is pretty much the only guy we re-signed. Everyone else said no. So that's fun. So on to free agency, Leighton Vander Esch is here. It seems like he's always here. But there's some other names. Von Miller, Antonio Brown, Snacks Harrison, Michael Gallup. So we're going to go after Von Miller, Mitchell Schwartz, AB, Snacks Harrison, Patrick Peterson, Dallas Goedert, and Chandler Jones. With only $60K left in cap space, we get Chandler Jones and Goddard. Mitchell Schwartz declines. So we need money. We're not going to go after Antonio Brown now. And instead, we're going to go after Kiki Kute and Peterson, Miller, Snacks Harrison, and Kiki Kute all accept. So we have the 14th pick in the draft, which is very solid. Here's a look at the class we're going to be working with. Definitely some talented players here in this class. So with our selection, we're going to go with tackle Jacques Hewitt from Arizona State. We do still have a few holes on the offensive line, and he is a 76 with star. So that's a very solid pick here in the first round. Not too mad. And then headed into the season, Jordan Hicks and a fifth for Ryan Kelly. This makes sense for both teams. Kelly's on the last year of his deal. Colts aren't looking to pay him. They need an inside linebacker. And for us, we don't really need Jordan Hicks anymore, and we can improve our offensive line. So here's a look at the team headed into season number 4. This is a really, really nice looking squad. I forgot about our strong safety, so Deontay Thompson's going to play there. 5th round rookie out of Bama. And we end up making the playoffs, going 9-7. That'll get us a wild card spot, which is very, very nice to see. Looking at the stats, KYLER Murray was better, I guess. He still was not good. Running the ball, Zeke, 5.6 yards a carry. In the receiving game, Christian Kirk over 1,000 yards, Andy Isabella solid. Blocking-wise, only 2 sacks allowed from Lamont Gallard. That's pretty good. Miles Jack, 112 tackles. TFLs went to Yannick Ngakoue with 11. 13 sacks for Chandler Jones, 7.5 for Von Miller, 3 picks for Budda Baker, 2 for Von Miller, and Miles Jack, 1 for a number of other guys. So Andrew Luck, once again, wins the most valuable player. I believe he's won one so far in this rebuild. And then Coach of the Year, we should be on here, and sure enough, we're not. That's nice. Offensive Player of the Year in the NFC goes to Russell Wilson, Ezekiel Elliott in third. Defense Player of the Year goes to Levante David, who is now on the Eagles. There's Jared Davis in fifth. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Moy of the 49ers, one of our players. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Hobbs of the Atlanta Falcons. So we are now in 87, 95 offense, 89 defense. We are locked and loaded, looking nice. KYLER is now a 91 overall. Then looking at the defense, very, very nice core we got here. I think this team can do some damage and win some games here in the playoffs. So first round, taking on the 10-6 Chicago Bears. I think we can definitely beat these guys, and we do. Now, the 12-4 Carolina Panthers. Can we keep the win streak going? And we don't. End up losing 37-31, so I guess we made it competitive at least. So on to re-signings. Ryan Kelly, I want to bring him back 2 years, 20. He's sticking around. Kendall Fuller, I only want to give him 2 years. He does not want 2 years. Von Miller, 1 year, about $12 million. He says no. KYLER Murray, 7 years, $239. He is sticking around. Thank goodness. Snacks Harrison, 1 year, $6.11 million. He says no. Pat Pete, 1 year, about $4 million. He's going to say no. It seems like everyone who gets a 1-year deal declines, and almost everyone else who doesn't get a 1-year deal accepts, like Andy Isabella and Byron Murphy, who are each getting 4-year contracts, both of which close to about $50 million. Chandler Jones, 1 year, about $2 million. He declines. I'm noticing a trend here. 2 years, 14 for Lamont Gallard. He accepts. Deontay Thompson now has star depth, so I kind of want to keep him. 4 years, $20 million. He accepts. So here's a look at everyone who we re-signed and who we did not re-sign. Not doing well on money, I don't think, so we probably not going to be able to bring all of these guys back in free agency. And then this free agency class is nice. DeAndre Hopkins, Brian Burns, both of the Fuller brothers. And then some of our former players. There's also Bobby Wagner, Titus Howard, So we're going to go after Brian Burns, try to get back Kendall Fuller, try to get back Von Miller, try to get back Snacks, and also get Drew Sample. And all 5 of them accept, so welcome to the team, boys. Brian Burns is like a 96 overall, so that should be a really big pickup for us, as we have the 25th pick in the draft. And looking at this draft class, there's some talent. We still have a few holes left, but for the most part, our team is about good, I would say. So with our pick, we're gonna go with safety Jason Mitchell. Maybe if Deontay Thompson starts to struggle, he ends up being a 72 of normal, so he'll just be depth, and Thompson will keep his spot as a starter. And then headed into the season, a couple of our former players, Patrick Peterson and Hakeem Butler, they didn't sign anywhere in free agency, so I figured I might as well bring him back. So welcome back to Arizona, gentlemen. Here's a look at the squad headed into season number 5. This team is looking really nice, 87 overall. Hopefully we can go far in the postseason this time. I think this team definitely has the talent to do so. And we just flat out missed the playoffs. I don't get it. We go 8-8. I don't know what to say about that. Looking at the stats, Kyler Murray was, I guess he could have been worse. 7 picks, 61% isn't too bad, but he was not very good. Zeke had a dominant season. Looking at the sacks, 12 allowed by Jacques Hewitt. 117 tackles for Miles Jack. Zach Cotton close behind. 14 tackles for loss for Dante Maynard, who shouldn't really be starting. 12.5 sacks for both Snacks and Von Miller. And then interceptions, 3 for Miles Jack as well as Byron Murphy. So Andrew Luck gets another MVP. Daniel Jones down the Packers. Kyle Shanahan, Coach of the Year of the Chiefs. NFC Offensive Player of the Year, I'm looking at the wrong conference, goes to Jake Fromm. Daniel Jones in second. I don't know what to say. Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year. There's Miles Jack. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to William Pierce. And the Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Jaron Miller of the Falcons. So, looking on the re-sign phase, Hakeem Butler, this time he will re-sign. Patrick Peterson, 1 year, 1.61. He actually does accept. That's the first time I've seen a 1-year contract stick around. Andrew Thomas, 5 years, 65, welcome back. Kendall Fuller, 1 year, 12 mil. He says no, shocker, shocker. And then Yannick Ngakoue wants 70 mil over 4 years. I'm just not looking to do that. So on to free agency, there are some interesting names. Jonathan Taylor, Fletcher Cox, Travis Etienne, Malik Hooker. This is a very solid free agent class, without a doubt. So the players we're going to go after are going to be Fletcher Cox and Marco Wilson. Wilson will replace Fuller in the secondary, and then we need a defensive tackle. Fletcher Cox rejects, however, Marco Wilson accepts, so bye-bye Kendall Fuller. And then in stage 2, we're going to go after Michael Myers. I totally forgot about him, so good thing I realized. Taron Johnson, try to bring back Kenny Willekes, and also go after Javon Hargrove. So we end up with the 14th pick in the NFL draft. Looking at the draft, there's some defensive players on the board, and one I really like, Gabe Thierry, a defensive tackle out of USC. I can't miss out on the opportunity, so we're going to trade our first, our second, and Jasper to get him, and he is the guy I want. He's going to play defensive tackle, and he looks like an absolute beast. So welcome aboard, Gabe Thierry, 75 overall. He only has star dev, so 75 stars and spectacular, but can't really get too mad with that selection. So here's the team headed into season 6, I want to say. 83 overall. We actually did get a decent bit worse ratings-wise, but hopefully that doesn't stop us from doing pretty well, as this squad is looking very nice. And sure enough, we would miss the playoffs again. This time we go 7-9, dead last in the division. That's not fun. Kyler Murray played better, I guess. Still, other than his rookie year, he's been very underwhelming in this rebuild. Zeke, 2,037 yards, almost 8 yards a carry. I told you he's insane in this game. Christian Kirk had a nice year. Offensive line was pretty good for the most part. Miles Jack, 140 tackles. Tackles for loss went to Gabe Thierry, our rookie, with 13. Sacks went to Brian Burns, 6.5. Would have hoped more from him. 5.5 picks, or 5.5. Just 5 interceptions for Deontay Thompson. So Tua Tagovailoa wins MVP. Ezekiel Elliott, I know his team went 7-9, but he still got absolutely robbed. Zeke does win Offensive Player of the Year. DPOY goes to Miles Jack. So we win both of those awards, yet our team wins 7 games. Hudson Rodgers wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Gabe Thierry, so that's pretty cool. So, on to re-signing, Zach Cotton, $63 million, welcome back. Milton Knight, he will be sticking around. Ryan Kelly and Kiki Kute are not going to be re-signed right now. Neither will Lamont Gallard or any of the other guys. So on to free agency, my plan was just try to bring back everyone. But we signed Aaron Donald, as well as Quincy Wilson, who's Marco Wilson's brother, and Larry Ogunjobi. We were unable to re-sign Kiki Kute, so we're going to have to get a little bit of a downgrade. Henry Ruggs, the talented receiver from Alabama. So here's a look at the squad. Obviously, Aaron Donald being the big fish that we ended up bringing in. I think this team looks very nice, 86 overall, and sure enough, we end up making the playoffs, going 10-6. That'll get us a wild card spot. The Seattle Seahawks win the division at 11-5, so I guess that sort of stings a little bit. As on the year, KYLER Murray, he was better, not great. Zeke, 7.2 yards a carry. He's a glitch in this game. Receivers, everybody got the love. Offensive line, 10 sacks allowed from Milton Knight and Andrew Thomas. Whatever than that, they were pretty good. Jack led in tackles again. Brian Burns, Gabe Fieri, 15 TFLs, 10.5 sacks for Brian Burns. And then interceptions, 2 for Byron Murphy, Quincy Wilson, 1 for a number of other guys. So Zeke wins MVP. He wasn't as good as he was last year, but still solid. Tua finishes in third. By the way, Tua has led the Bengals to 3 Super Bowl wins so far in this rebuild. So the Bengals have won 3 Super Bowls since drafting Tua. I don't know what to say about that. As here is a look at the offensive and defensive player of the years. I did not catch you on offensive player of the year. I hope it was Zeke. I know Leighton Vander Esch won defensive player of the year. So on to the postseason, taking on the Bucs. 92 overall, 99 offense, 95 defense. Our offense is looking nice. KYLER is a 94. Christian Kirk now has superstar X Factor, so that's pretty cool. And then looking at the defense, the D is looking nice as well. I don't know when Miles Jack got superstar X Factor, but I'm not gonna complain about that. So the Bucs still have Jameis Winston, so this should be no problem, and we get the dub. Now taking on the Giants, who are 13-3. I know they don't have Daniel Jones, so I just have to see who they have at quarterback. I have no clue who it could possibly be, and they have this auto-generated player in his 4th year, Bo Payton out of Arizona State, 80 overall star development, so we can beat these guys. He probably had a better year than KYLER Murray, but ratings-wise, he isn't as good. And we end up getting the win. 2 road playoff wins. Now we just got to get one more in Minneapolis, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. I know they have Drew Lock at QB now. So time to simulate ahead. And we get the win. We're going to take on our good friends, the Miami Dolphins, in the Super Bowl. We just can't run away from them, it seems like. We just rebuilt them. We were drafted by them in face of the franchise, and we're going to get traded, hint, hint. We had them for our Madden 19 series, so this team actually looks nice. We're led by Justin Herbert now. Minka's developed into a beast. Jerome Baker has. Raekwon has. Just like in the Dolphins rebuild we just did. I thought it was my magic that made them all good, but maybe not. So here we go. Do we win the Super Bowl? And we get the win in a close game, 29-26. We only won by 3. So we win 3 road playoff games and then beat the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl. Would you look at that? We got to look at this box score before we end the video. 38-3 over the Bucs, beat the Giants by 3, beat the Vikings by 5, and then the Dolphins by 3. And look at that. 4th quarter comeback. Outscored them by 15 in the 4th to win. Justin Herbert and KYLER Murray were both solid. Zeke did his thing. He probably won Super Bowl MVP. Ross Hunter was their leading receiver. Christian Kirk with a touchdown. And then looking at the defense, Raekwon led them in tackles. Our leader was Quincy Wilson. Bunch of guys with a tackle for a loss. Bunch of guys with a sack. And then no one had an interception. So that'll do it for the replay.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Loving plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Yo, hey,